like our church, huh?
I do.
But you know, if you come to like 5 of these practices, then you have to come. You know, you're under contractual arrangement. Obligation. You have to come to this church.
Well, I've been attending the practices since.
That's a good first step. It's a baby step. But then you have to start attending liturgies and.
I don't know what I just gonna do the Russian style. I mean, not necessarily the Russian, but just the Western thing.
Well, we're changing.
We do some of both. So, okay.
I don't like the Russian too, but it's interesting to learn.
So what we're going to get started with here is we're going to look at least the first thing is the Glory for Cyril and Athanasius. This is 4 pages, so it's a little bit long. Plagal 2.
4 pages.
Yeah, 4 pages long. So.
Well, I like Plagal 2.
So this is a nice one. Plagal 2. There's some cool things that they do plays on words, and so we'll see. This is written by me, so hopefully it's good. The one thing, so Athanasius in Greek,
Athanasius.
Yeah, but what that'd be they do a play on immortal. So
what do you mean?
They do a play on words.
Athanasius, because Athanatos means immortal. Immortal.
So that they play on that name there, so that's where that comes from. But oftentimes we lose it in English because it would be obvious in Greek.
Yeah.
But in English, it doesn't necessarily come across that way.
Yeah, and I forgot that it meant that in Greek.
Yeah.
Because I get into the English mindset.
Yeah. So we'll sing through this. As I mentioned,
they lump him with Cyril.
Oh, Cyril and Athanasius, patriarchs of Alexandria, right? So they're buddies. I have it here. We'll look at it in a second.
So that's for Wednesday?
Yeah, they're both patriarchs of Alexandria. So.
Also, will be chanting that?
We'll see. I don't know if I'll be able to chant a 4-page glory. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
You know if you will be able, or else?
No, I don't. I've got a time frame. I'm supposed to finish by a certain time. So if I chant a 4-page glory in Byzantine notation, I don't know if Father David will.
Father David is not. Father
Yeah.
David is not one for long.
We'll start earlier. We'll start at 6.
Okay. We'll sing this now, and we'll get through it today, and then in lieu of Wednesday. So. Neke anes Prosomoia fis lovers, and as we gather, let us extol with spiritual praises those chiefs of hierarchs and pinnacles of patriarchs, the all-bright luminaries of the whole world, and expositors of the mind of Christ, and let us say, rejoice, O wise Athanasius, namesake of immortality, who with the sling of thy divinely wise doctrines didst hurl from Christ's flock the triflarious Cyril, star bright with all splendor, champion of the ever virgin, who with stentorian voice in the midst of the sacred assembly at Ephesus did illustriously proclaim her to be the Theotokos, and disrefute the nonsense of Nestorius. Rejoice, ye wellsprings of theology, ever-flowing rivers of the wisdom of God, and gushing fountains of divine knowledge. O thrice blessed Fathers, cease not to intercede with Christ for those who celebrate with faith and love your all sacred and divine festival.
It wasn't too long. I mean, it wasn't bad, was it?
I mean, it's 4
How
pages.
long did it take us?
Probably like 4 minutes, which is not too bad. I mean,
I bet it was less.
it's just on a weekday when we're expecting that there's a class coming afterwards and all these things.
So that's for Wednesday?
That is for.
Okay, let's do it.
I mean, I'll look at it. I'm intending to do something Byzantine. It's just a matter of what
I mean,
do I want to do.
Can we maybe
Nope.
part to eliminate?
No. I mean, most of this, I didn't even write it that long. You know,
No, you did.
It's pretty straightforward.
You made it really. It is so much easier and comprehensible than what they put up on St. Anthony's.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. This one, it's pretty straightforward. The only thing that I do want to look at real quick, if you look we're on the last page, O thrice blessed fathers, it should be the fourth line of the of the last page.
To intercede with Christ. Oh, thrice, yes.
So this is where it doesn't do what you want it to do, from a Western standpoint. So, and gushing fountains of divine knowledge, O thrice blessed Fathers.
Yeah, I didn't quite get it.
Fathers, so fathers. So let's do that real quick on Nipavu, if we can.
From O.
Oh, thrice blessed, yeah.
And Pa.
Pa. Padiga vikezo kediga vodiga vo ga ga vo pa
For some
pa.
reason, I keep skipping the Isun.
Yeah, so they're there and they're important.
I can't miss the Gorgon there.
Yeah, and on
fathers for longer than we all.
yeah, and it's real quick. It's technically that's just one beat. You know, it just
yeah.
looks like it's more, and then the rest of it just bounces around. You know, the rest of it.
Yeah.
So let's do it one more time with Nipavu. Pa pa di ga di kezo ke di ga vu di ga vu ga ga vu pa pa.
And there's and there's an extension here. So there's a
with the appli.
there's a gorgon, but there's also
An appli at the bottom. Yeah. So then it ends up being that the first one, the first apostrophos, is short, but the second one is actually 1.5 beats, even though that's the one that has the gorgon on top of it. So it's one of those where it's not necessarily. Once you get used to the way that that's written, it is perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. But initially, it's like, wait, that's not actually the short one; it's the long one.
Yeah.
So let's deal with the words now. O thrice blessed fathers. Yeah, and the hardest part about this is figuring out where to swallow. Because for me, like about halfway through, I'm like, oh no, I need to swallow saliva somewhere. And so that's my challenge, at least for me personally. The other thing.
That is, it's a little different.
So if you look at the third line from the bottom, the other thing I wanted to point out, so I'm going to start right before that. For those who celebrate with faith and love. And then from there, we anticipate, and we've done this before, but like divine, we anticipate those. You're all sacred and divine. So it's not and divine. So because you have two apostrophos with a klasma on top of each one, you kind of hold on to the previous note on di and on vine. So and divine. So a little bit.
You did it really nicely.
Thank you. I'm practicing that at home every day. No. So let's just do that real quick, just to make sure that we're interpreting it a little bit. So you're all sacred and divine, festival. One more time. So you're all sacred and divine, festival. And the only other thing, just on a lot of these things, if you look at festival, you have fe followed by a kandimata. And that one, as we said before, is like this, it kind of means knitting together. So fe. So they might do that. At some point, it gets a little trite if you keep doing fa. But nevertheless, it's like this little, you're knitting between notes and you're trying to connect them all. So festival. So just something with that. Cool.
That's what this is what you should help us do. You know, the coloration, the Byzantine thing. You know, like
the Byzantine ethos.
The ethos is like the key thing. And,
oh yeah. When you can really tell when something is performed in a Western style and like a classical Western style versus in a classical Byzantine style, which like the Byzantine singers. Sometimes I was chanting one of these things for a voice teacher with Johns Hopkins, and it was part of their voice team, and they were like, "You Orthodox, like you guys have like voices of steel," because like we just keep chanting for like hours, and then they were talking about Byzantine in particular, where they were like, it's like an aria, it's just that it goes on with no breaks with the orchestra. You know, you have this huge thing that goes on for 4 minutes with no pauses. Of course, you do take pauses.
But I mean, the way you interpret the candima, for example, and you pause, like if by this time I would want to hurry up, and I would not pause on the D for divine, but it's this extra. I mean, you should make us aware that this extra embellishment, or the way you go from one note to the next, and it's amazing how you got the ethos without having, being in Greece or learned by a master.
Yeah, wonderful.
It's amazing.
But haven't you been to Greece?
Well, I've been to Greece, but I haven't stayed
But
it's
he didn't
funny.
learn there.
There's some friends of mine that I was talking to them, and I was like, man, you have a certain quality of your voice, and they studied with Arvanitis in Greece for 4 months or for a year and a half, and I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of and then it was a personal one-on-one study, and I was like, oh, I wish I could go to Greece and do a one-on-one study for a year and a half.
You have no idea what this guy has accomplished. You have no idea in a short time.
So what I'm handing out now is just to show you. I'm going to hand out a bunch of things that are upcoming, and you'll see pretty much all the Prosomoia are the ones that we've done. You'll see that it just keeps coming up and up again and again. So what I handed out was the...
Is this for this Wednesday too?
No, this is for January 16th. So what day is that? That's tomorrow. So it'd be as if we were doing Vespers tonight.
Yeah.
So you have... what is the first Prosomoia? Aswan Valiant. We know Aswan Valiant, so we'll chant a little bit of that. What's the Prosomoia for the Apostica?
Where does it say?
Unto them that fear thee.
Where does it say that? Fourth stone. Oh.
Yeah.
Hey.
So.
I hadn't thought of actually reading.
It's very important. So it's kind of surprising that once you learn a few, you learn most of them, which they just keep coming back. So the ones that I'll show you is we've got Aswan Valiant, we've got When He Took Thee, we've got Unto Them That Fear Thee. I'm going to put in a few more that we haven't learned yet. And then we have Rejoices in a few of these. So I just want to chant through a few of these just to make sure that we remember them. So let's look at the first one for the Precious Chains of Peter, Aswan Valiant. So, all delusion thou boundest fast. Legetos. All delusion thou boundest fast, O Apostle, when thou thyself wast bound up and thrown into prison for the Lord. Wherefore with longing we honor thee, and reverence thy chains with faith, and in drawing forth therefrom health of body and mighty grace that doth save the soul, as is due, we extol thee, O thou rival of the bodiless assemblies, thrice blessed Peter, thou seer of God.
Twice. It says you have to do it twice.
Yep. So this is because he's so important, and that these types of things, that he would actually have 6.
So let's
and they would all be for him. So, we can skip that and do the next one. And if you notice, there's a lot going on here with he's rivaling the bodiless assembly. So he himself is overtaking the angels and a seer of God, which is the title for Moses. So they're putting him on that level and above. And you have some of those where the veil is now removed, and that in the same way that Moses had his face veiled, but Peter's shadow, cured the sick, that type of thing.
What does it mean, all delusion that bound us fast? Which delusion? Other people's delusion?
Normally they're talking about the delusion of the idols, and the delusion of the world, but oftentimes the delusion of the idols. And so, seeing the idols as something important and, essentially tying them up and binding the strong man, the type of thing. So, let's do the next one. Through thy means... Through thy means have the scattered tribes of the nations which formerly were caught fast in ignorance come to know our God. Of them a type was revealed when once a vessel containing all living creatures was brought down from the heights, O all blessed one. Wherefore every age glorifieth and worshipeth the change with will is where, O wise apostle, with fervent zeal in behalf of Christ. Cool. So the one thing, and I love the hymns, it kind of goes by, and you're like, we talked about like so many things of the Old Testament right there. The scattered tribes of the nations. So we're caught fast in ignorance. So we've got both the fact that they're scattered, and then the fact that the with Tower of Babylon, the Tower of Babel, and that you have all these languages and that are brought together, especially under Peter at Pentecost. And you've got the vessel containing all living creatures was brought down from the heights, and you've got all these like the prophetical images of what Ezekiel and Isaiah and all these things bringing down the living creatures, in one hymn. It kind of assumes that you have these on the tip of your tongue. So there's a lot going on here, and how essentially this is all fulfilled in Peter and in the apostles and things. Let's move on to the Apostica. So this is tone 4 again. It's just not as one valiant. It's unto them that fear thee.
Wait, where?
So bottom right of the page. So legatos. Here, let's have we'll do different things. So Jeff, give us a legatos. Legatos. Come ye, let us worship now the precious change. Why bury all the bonds of the passions have been destroyed? For through the ineffable gifts of a wise Peter have his chains been solemnly sanctified in very truth, and have received from him ever-flowing grace. They cut asunder all the binding cords of sorrows and trespasses, granting loosing from every ill through the grace God hath given him. Cool. How's that one feel compared to As One Valiant?
Not quite as good.
Okay, so we'll do some more.
What is the Greek thing? Panethemi martyr.
Yeah. No. That's tone 1. That's on all lot of martyrs. Unto them that fear thee. Oh, what is it? I have it right here.
One is.
So let me just look real quick. Okay. It is Edokas Simiosin.
And the other one?
Oskeneon and Martisin.
No, the
Yep.
as one
Oskeneon and Martisin. Yep. Okay. So now we've got a verse, and this one again. His sound hath gone forth into all the earth, and his words unto the ends of the world. Oh, a lot of Peter. Oh, all lauded Peter, chief of the apostles, thy chain doth shine like a line reaching to the heights, by which we are led from earth to the gates of heaven. And in faith we come to thee, O the wondrous and most wise, as the illustrious keeper of the keys. Entrusted with the keys then of the kingdom, open thou unto us in thy mercy the entryway to salvation and blessedness. Cool. The one thing it's playing again here, and hopefully you noticed that you've got the chains of Peter reaching like a line to the heights, and what do you have? You've got the ladder that Jacob saw, reaching to the heights, and then what you have in the church, you have the censer connecting kind of the hands of the priest to this burning coal, and you've got the chains of the censer, which kind of symbolize this this ascending line to the heights, and you've got this combination of the chains of Peter, the chains of the censer, and this ladder which Jacob saw, which is the mother of God, and all these things kind of coming together in one image, which is pretty neat. They're playing with too many images together. So Anna, can you do the next verse? The heavens.
Do it.
That in the next verse. The heavens declare.
The heavens declare the glory of God, and firmament proclaimeth the works of his hands.
On this day the ranks of angels join with mortals and joyously sing thy praises with one accord. For when the Lord's angel came, smote thy side and woke thee, thou didst flee the guard and the chain of thy captivity, leaving thy bonds unto them that bound thee up. And now, O all wise Peter, as thou dost bestow this great joy on us, Thou dost break the unbreakable bonds of sin that condemned us once.
I don't always divide them where you would divide them.
Mm-hmm. I'm just following the melody straight up. So,
yeah, but sometimes you can elongate something to fit the melody, or
yeah. So especially when you're singing together, I don't like to do that. There's one that I was looking at that you kind of have to, it makes more sense. But in general, I try to follow it as strictly as I can. The one thing, just to let you know, with the fourth tone verses and things, you do find some people that go down to ni. So his sound da da ni vo 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 ga vo pa vo. His sound doth come forth unto all the earth. And then they go into up to thee. And his words unto the ends of the world. And they go into a rhythm. But normally it's kind of a round vu. And you do find a lot of people that use ni, not in a way that would be plagal 4, because you want to make sure that it's not plagal 4. But the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament proclaimeth the work of his hands. Something like that. So just to let you know, you always end on vu for these, right, unless it's a long tone 4. But in these cases, it's the quick tone 4.
Was the fourth and the second tone.
Oh no, but you ended on vu.
Yeah.
So one thing, if you notice, we've got a few other melodies on here that we don't know yet. So I wanted to look through them.
Let's
real
see,
quick.
Which ones?
You have As It Is Written.
Oh, having laid up, no. Oh,
well, I have that one, and then we're gonna do As It Is Written, which I like a lot. As It Is Written is short, and which I think we can do pretty quickly.
How is it in Greek? As It Is Written, do you know?
Triimeros Anestis Christe.
Oh, I don't know.
Triimeros Anesti Christe. So, okay. So this one I like a lot. This reminds me of O House of Ephrathah, because it's the same thing. It's used for a lot of the festival things, and it's just pretty short. So.
But you do it differently, the Olia Pathemini.
Yes.
You do it a little differently.
I'm just following Ioannis Protopsaltis, so I'm standing on his shoulders. So this one is plagal 2, but if you notice, it's from thee, right? And so let me bring it up here.
Oh, right.
It's
Yeah.
the second tone.
Yeah, so plagal 2, but it is from thee because it's a brief one. So again, that's how that works. But where do we end? We end on vu, because that's just how it works. And so our first note, it says vu, but it has the 2 things after it, which they go up to thee. So, so let's just sing the melody. O Christ, as it was written, you rose the third day from the sepulchre, resurrecting. So this is where there's that one thing he adds an extra syllable there, and I'll tell you what it is. We'll follow as it's written, but that's not actually correct. Resurrecting our primal Father with yourself, for this the race of mankind extols your resurrection with sacred anthems glorifying you. So the last one, you. So the one thing, and we'll sing it again as it's written, but he's got an extra syllable on the second line, resurrecting. Resurrecting our, the ing should not be there. Resurrecting. But now, with the way that he wrote the syllables, you've got an extra syllable. So we'll look at that later. Primal Father with yourself, for this the race of mankind extols. Oftentimes I will pause on kind, put a klasma there. So, which I think is actually in the original. And it extols your resurrection. And a klasma there as well. So oftentimes he will cut it because extols your resurrection is not. Father Seraphiim Datus, when he's writing these. Oftentimes he ignores what the original has because it doesn't fit with English. So he just doesn't include the klasma. He makes it work with the English the way it is. But just to let you know where there might be a klasma and where I will probably pause. So just those things. For this the race of mankind. I'll hold that. Extols your resurrection. Hold that. With sacred anthems glorifying you. And again, the second line. So let's sing it again as it's written, and then we'll go to some texts, both what's on the page and then also what I gave you handed out. O Christ, as it was written, you rose the third day from the sepulchre, resurrecting our primal Father with yourself. For this the race of mankind extols your resurrection, with sacred anthems glorifying you.
This is so weird because it has some lines from the Katavasia, like the ending, na 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 da da da. But then, I mean, I keep thinking it's going one direction. It has lines for other Prosomoia.
Yep. Well, it's because Plagal 2 and Tone 2, brief, don't really have that many.
Yeah.
Their patterns are so repetitive, that there's not a whole lot of variation there. So,
but I have not heard that particular Prosomoia.
Oh, this one's used for a lot of the festal things, and also for a lot of the both nows, like the both now after a saint's thing. So let's go. So what I want to do is I want to look at if you have the text that I gave you for Peter. We have his both now is as it is written, the Theotokian of the cross, the Stavro Theotokian, which is done on Tuesday evenings or Thursday evenings, because the cross is Wednesday or Friday. So we have that one, and then if you turn the page, we've got another one for the Apostica, the same thing as it is written. So I want to look at those two.
All right.
So just have them available.
Where's the other as it is written? Oh, both now?
That's what you got. The other one's here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one is
Yeah.
here.
One's here and one's on the other side.
Yeah, we'll try and be clear. Let me know if I'm not clear as to which one. So let's do the first phrase. O Christ, as it was written, you rose. O Christ, as it was written, you rose. One more time. O Christ, as it was written, you rose. Do it without the music. O Christ, as it was written, you rose. Okay, so now go to the texts and go to the first of them. When she beheld thee. When she beheld with grief untold. One more time. When she beheld with grief untold. Go to the second page. When she that bare thee. When she that bare thee in her womb. So pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Let's go to the next phrase. The third day from the sepulchre. One more time. The third day from the sepulchre. Do it without the music. The third day from the sepulchre. Go to the new texts. So the first page. Our life suspended on the tree. Our life suspended on the tree. Next page. Beheld thee. Beheld thee crucified, O Christ. Cool. Let's go both phrases together. O Christ, as it is written. O Christ, as it was written, you rose the third day from the sepulchre. And I'm holding rose a little bit just because it seems a little bit pushy. O Christ, as it was written, you rose the third.
Yeah.
I like to hold it at least for another beat, but technically it's just two. So let's do it without the music. Just O Christ, as it was written, you rose the third day from the sepulchre. Goes to the texts. So first page. When she beheld thee. When she beheld with grief untold, our life suspended on the tree. Second page. When she that bare thee in her womb beheld thee crucified, O Christ. Cool. Feeling good so far? Okay. So let's go to the next one, resurrecting our primal Father with yourself. Let's do that all together. Resurrecting our primal Father with yourself. One more time. Resurrecting our primal Father with yourself. Without the words, or without the music rather. Resurrecting our primal Father with yourself. Cool, let's go to the new words. And if that was truly the case, at least in my Menayan, I would underline it to let myself know that I have to combine syllables. I would underline resurrecting, like that resurrecting our, to let me know that it doesn't fit the melody right, and then I have to actually use that syllable early.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I would definitely do resurrecting our primal, and I would have to fit it then, which is fine. It works perfectly fine. Let's go to the all blameless. Theotokos cried aloud. First page. The all blameless Theotokos cried aloud. Next page. She cried grieving. She cried grieving, what strange mystery do I see? Let's do all of this together. All of those phrases together. O Christ, as is written, up until with yourself.
From this one?
Music. O Christ, as it is written.
From the original.
Yep. O Christ, as it was written, you rose the third day from the sepulchre, resurrecting our primal Father with yourself. Cool. Let's go to the texts. So the first page, when she beheld thee with grief. When she beheld with grief. When she beheld with grief untold our life suspended on the tree, the O blameless Theotokos cried aloud. Cool. Let's go to the next one. When she that bare thee. When she that bare thee in her womb beheld thee crucified, O Christ, she cried grieving, what strange mystery do I see? Cool. Feeling pretty good so far?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the next one and finish it out. So, for this the race of mankind, for this the race of mankind. One more time. For this the race of mankind. And if you remember, just to remind you, in soft chromatic, for this the race of mankind, there's an attraction there. So if you just tap pa, it gets pulled up. If you hit it fully, for this, da, but if it's da, so it really depends how you're treating it.
So what should it be?
In this case, it's sharpened.
Okay.
For this the race of mankind. So just an attraction there.
Okay.
Let's go to the texts. So the first one, with motherly lamenting, I believe. With motherly lamenting. With motherly lamenting. Cool. Let's go to the next one. My sweetest son, how canst thou? My sweetest son, how canst thou? And just to clarify, canst is can. It's not cannot. Where a lot of people, they hear that and they're like, canst? Why, I can do whatever I want. It's like, no, that's can. Let's add another phrase. Extols your resurrection. Extols your resurrection. One more time. Extols your resurrection. Let's go to the texts. My son and God, I pray thee. First page. My son and God, I pray thee. Pretty straightforward. Next page. Who art the life bestower? Who art the life bestower? Let's do the first page. My son and God, I pray thee. The my son and God. And both, with motherly lamenting, followed by my son and God, I pray thee.
Yes.
With motherly lamenting, my son and God, I pray thee. Next page. My sweetest son. Yeah, my sweetest son, how canst thou, who art the life bestower? And just to make us a little frustrated, we won't finish it yet. We'll practice that whole phraseology, and then we'll add the final phrase. So let's go back to O Christ as it was written, and then we'll sing everything up until that point, and then we'll add the final phrase. O Christ, as it was written, you rose the third day from the sepulchre, resurrecting our primal Father with yourself. For this the race of mankind extols your resurrection. Okay, let's go to the texts. Just make sure that we have that.
I see.
Yeah, just making sure that we have that before we add our final phrase, because final phrase is pretty easy. So, when she beheld with grief untold our life suspended on the tree, the all blameless Theotokos cried aloud with motherly lamenting, my son and God, I pray thee. It really wants to finish it, doesn't it?
Yes.
When she that bare thee in her womb beheld thee crucified, O Christ, she cried grieving, what strange mystery do I see? My sweetest Son, how canst thou, who art the life bestower? Let's finish it out. With sacred anthems. With sacred anthems glorifying you. One more time. With sacred anthems glorifying you. And one more time without the music. With sacred anthems glorifying you. Yeah. And withhold the urge to do you. So it's such a characteristic thing, but not here. Let's go to the first page of the new text. Save them that praise thee. Save them that praise thee in their fervent love. And the next page, die in the flesh. Die in the flesh while hanging on the tree. Cool. Let's do the first page. The entire thing. When she beheld with grief untold. Nes. When she beheld with grief untold our life suspended on the tree, the all blameless Theotokos cried aloud with motherly lamenting, my son and God, I pray thee, save them that praise thee in their fervent love. Cool, let's go to the next one. When she that bare thee in her womb beheld thee crucified, O Christ, she cried grieving, what strange mystery do I see? My sweetest Son, how canst thou, who art the life bestower, die in the flesh while hanging on the tree? Cool. So, now, if you're going to finish this, if this is the both now, the Theotokian, the question is, how do you finish it? Because you've got a prosomia, and the prosomia is written just as a standalone melody. In this case...
You end with thee.
We end with thee, yeah. And so, if you were to end it, save them that praise thee in their fervent love. You might do something like that. Love. So save them that praise thee in their fervent love. So that is a characteristic way to do that. Fervent love. You could do something simpler and just end on God.
Right.
Now, the interesting thing here is that for Lord I Have Cried, we probably wouldn't end it. Because what comes afterwards, technically, if it's a weekday Vespers, we just speak, O gladsome light. There's no entrance. The priest doesn't say anything. We just speak it. So there's nothing for the priest to do. So we don't have...
So you don't have to signal to him.
We don't have to signal to him. So technically, if we signaled, he might be like, wait, what am I supposed to do? You know?
Why should we signal? Isn't he paying attention to Vespers?
No, the Byzantines try and give help. You know, the Russians don't always give help, but the Byzantines always give some sort of signal. So... So what we would do is like, save them that praise thee in their fervent love. O gladsome light of the holy glory of the Father. It just goes straight in. There's nothing for the priest to do. And then he goes to the Prokimenon. Now at
So that's the practice that they would not...
Mhm.
would not end it like you would normally end it.
Right.
Here it is.
Because you've got nothing
Okay.
that comes next.
Okay.
Now, at the Apostica, after that, the priest does say something in the Byzantine tradition. He says, Lord, now let us thou thy servant depart in peace. That's technically the priest or the superior or someone else.
Oh, really?
So then, in that case, you would end it in some way. Because if there is some, like, for us, I wouldn't end it because one of us will say it. But if I was at a Greek church or at an Antiochian church, the Antiochians, it depends on the church. You have to talk to the priest.
In practice?
Yeah.
The Greeks, someone else would do it.
Mm-hmm.
In the Slavic tradition, which we're sort of got one foot in.
Yeah. This is where we have one foot in, one foot out. Yeah, in the Slavic tradition, the choir would sing it.
I see.
In Romanian, do they speak it or do they sing it or what do they?
It depends.
Okay, but it wouldn't be the priest, right?
No, not necessarily.
So, but if the bishop is here, I would ask him ahead of time because he may choose to say it, which then that defines how do you end it. So you just have to be aware of what the tradition is. So here, with the Apostica, I may not actually end it, which may surprise people because they're expecting me to end it because it's the final hymn. It's like, no, it's not.
I think now what you do. Do you usually end it? I can't remember now.
So
I've never noticed that, though.
Yeah. So it depends.
I
But
just thought it was something you did when you got to the end of a series of things, then you just had this special ending, whether or not
so
somebody else doing something else.
that's the key thing is whether you're going to signal to someone.
I see.
So that's kind of the neat thing. So because we don't have a ton of time left, I was going to do having laid up all their hope, but I'm going to switch over to something else, which I think we already know, and I just want to learn it for sure.
So,
What?
We're not doing the glory?
Not right now, no.
Let me get a second.
Yeah. So this is a special melody, except that this is not actually the melody. This is the Prosomoia, but this is not the original melody. What? Yeah, Be Quick to Anticipate is the actual melody, except that we don't sing Be Quick to Anticipate very often, but we sing this.
Yeah, we sing this a lot.
all the time. Yeah, and Father David knows this actually because we sing it so often that you just know it.
Yeah.
You just get it under your belt. So the only way that it might change is it might make it plural. So thy martyrs, O Lord, and they're courageous. And this is for a male martyr or for a group of martyrs. The female martyrs actually get a different hymn. They get, O Lord Jesus, unto thee, with Joseph was amazed. One of two melodies. It could
I
be.
always feel embarrassed that it uses generic martyrs things for. I feel sorry for these martyrs.
Yeah.
We didn't even bother to write up a thing about him for him.
Yeah. Well, so I'll show you in a second. A few times when you do get a different hymn for the saint, that is set to this melody though.
Oh, we're
So,
okay.
yeah. So let's sing this real quick. Thy martyr, O Lord, in his courageous contest for thee, received as the prize the crowns of incorruption and life from thee, our immortal God. For since he possessed thy strength, he cast down the tyrants, and wholly destroyed the demon's strengthless presumption. O Christ God, by his prayer save our soul, since thou art merciful. Now, I like to hold on that one in general, just because I do like to breathe. And so that's the thing.
A weakness
Oh,
that
Christ.
you have to overcome.
Yeah, I'm working on it, but it keeps coming back.
It's a thorn in his side that God
Yeah,
has given him.
I have asked him 3 times.
He's prayed 3 times
Yeah.
for that to be removed.
So you don't take breaks? Or
No. So, O Christ God, by his prayer save our souls. Then I pause.
It's not written that way.
So now you could do, O Christ God, by his prayer save our souls, since thou art. I only do that if it's in the middle of a word or if it wouldn't make sense otherwise. Conveniently, here we have a comma, so we can do it. So how comfortable do people feel with this melody?
Oh, yeah, we've done it.
Okay, so let's go to some texts.
You can.
So what we have, it's not this one. We're not text for this.
So you're saying you don't actually see the Prosomoia very often, but you sing this a whole lot. So this is almost Prosomoia now.
Yeah, exactly. So
Well,
that
it
becomes.
is a Prosomoian,
Be
right?
quick to anticipate. Well, I mean, this I guess is the model melody, but this gets sung a lot. This word, this
The generic martyr.
part of thing. Yeah.
You know, in this recording I did of our practice, did you notice,
I can
Nick,
give you permission to do
I
that.
have, you have captured this wild laugh of the Baranek. I have never, this is the most he's laughed in his entire life.
That's
I remember there's something, but it's wonderful,
Mm.
you know, because you usually, you know,
So-
surly and mean.
Someone else has said something very funny.
Let me see. So this one, apparently I did not print this out, so we're gonna print it out real quick.
Mhm.
And Livy, do you remember where the printer is?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna send you over to the
I'm gonna
printer.
have to turn it on.
Do you have to turn it on?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, so
Well, I'm asking.
oh, I don't think so, but there should be 4 pages coming out of it.
Okay.
So, or I should have printed 3, I guess. So this will be coming from the beginning of January. It actually is used for the Feast of Theophany, and it's one of their model melodies for Matins, which I was reading through it and I was like, why do I know this? And then I realized it was from Theophany, and then the hymns coming leading up to Theophany, it gets used a bunch. And oftentimes what you end up having is that either it's all about Theophany, or sometimes they play and it's like it talks about the saint, but it mixes in like, as John the Forerunner like had his head on Christ, so you, oh Saint Sylvester, did this type of thing. So sometimes they play with certain themes. So, but I think we can go straight to the texts on this because I think we know this pretty well. What'd you say? So
Yeah.
I don't know, Anna, you sung this with us enough?
This thing?
Yeah,
I sing that
yeah, all the time.
All the time.
Yep, which is fun. Like, it's funny when you have something memorized and then you can actually use it for something.
And every time I see it.
All right, cool.
So is this a parish council or
Oh,
It's
where are they meeting
Strategic
out there?
Development Committee.
as well?
Strategic Development Committee, I think.
Are they meeting out there?
Yeah.
Oh, I better go then.
They have 4 minutes. It's 7:26. Unless you want to check.
Are you on this?
Hmm?
Are you coming?
No,
They're
I'm
not
not
going
gonna.
to start on time. They never start. We don't start things on time here.
Yeah.
It's Romanian.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to be on time for them, but not for the choir? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Oh.
Yes, it's a more important,
Ah.
prestigious.
Uh-huh. So okay, so now.
Well, I came on time last time. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we have January 2nd, and I gave you January 4th and 6th.
Okay.
So, since he that is rich, we'll just go straight through them.
What? Oh.
What's that one?
Since he that is rich was in his great compassion made poor, desiring to make us rich again, who once were made poor because of intemperance, he doth come to step into the streams of the Jordan, that he might be baptized now of John manifestly. He faithful, let us praise his extreme depth of humility. So there I keep going because,
So no comment.
Ye faithful, let us praise his extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is you sing it
Extreme
almost
what?
like the
What?
undercut.
No.
I'm gonna do this on Wednesday.
No. Wait,
Why
this
not?
is not
I
for.
mean-
Well, this is not for Wednesday. That's for January 2nd.
Oh.
Okay, glory to the Father and to the Son, both now and under the ages of ages. Amen. That voice of Isaiah is in truth fulfilled on this day. That voice of one crying out, prepare the way of the Lord and make straight the paths of God. For the desert loving trumpet John, great in glory, hath as he foretold resounded, summoning all men. Hence let us run together, and we shall behold wondrous
I
things.
usually pause a little bit, you know.
Yeah, we could. Let's keep going, because Anna doesn't have very much time. So, behold to the Jordan river, Christ our God draweth nigh, and crieth unto the forerunner, come and baptize me, who cleanse and take. Wait, how do we? And crieth out we had out. And crieth out unto the forerunner, come and baptize me, who cleanse and take away the sin of the whole world in the streams of the river. Draw nigh and stretch out thy hand upon my divine head, for I am come to heal the great transgression wrought by a hand. I had to think about what that means. Next one, the stream. Oh, because they reached out for the
The apple?
apple? Yeah, or for the pomegranate. as the case may be. The streams. Next one. The streams of the Jordan River hast thou hallowed, O Lord. Thou wholly hast crushed the power and dominion of sin, O merciful Christ our God. Thou hast bowed beneath the hand of John the forerunner, and hast saved all mankind from delusion and error. We therefore supplicate thee, O Lord, spare us and save thy world. So there we get the pause.
Excellent.
And let's do one more hymn. So the back of this, the dismissal hymn, and Anna, you can leave.
I have to
This
go to the.
this is your dismissal hymn. So it should be so we're on January 15th on the back page, right? And it should be the dismissal hymn of St. John. Since thou... Do you have that? Oh, sorry, I handed you different pages. Okay, so you have January 15th?
Is it the same Prosomoia?
What do you have, Liviu? January 15th? Okay, cool.
I don't want you learning it.
Oh, here, okay.
Yeah, I realized I had them back to back.
Okay.
Since thou... I just closed the door. Yeah, real quick. Since thou hast with fervor longed after the Lord from thy youth, thou leftest the world with its delights, and nobly didst strive in valiant ascetic deeds. Thou didst pitch thy hut before the gates of thy parents. Thou didst break the demon's snares, O all blessed Father. And therefore, as is meet, hath Christ God glorified thee, O John. And there we could pause there too. Thee hath Christ God glorified thee, O John.
Maybe.
It depends. So
Yeah.
that one I'm not sure on that one. So the one thing, just to leave you with something funny. And I think there is a good place to stop. A friend of mine, one of them, he really liked John the Hut Dweller. So they had like their patron saint of their house was John the Hut Dweller, and then the one of them, he really liked Saint Maximus the Hut Burner. And they were together as roommates, and so they were like, what would happen if Saint John the Hut Dweller got together with Saint John the Hut Burner, who kept burning his hut? It's like, stop it! I want.
Never heard of that thing.
Yeah, so you have both of them, and Saint John the Hut Burner, I think every time he got attached to his hut or something like that, he would just burn it down and move somewhere else and build a new hut. And Saint John the Hut Dweller was he actually became a monk at 12, and then missed his parents so much at 18 after 6 years that he went back and lived on his parents' area, but he built a hut as like a beggar, and they didn't know it was him, and so he got ridiculed by his servants, who were his former servants, and all these things.
Alexis, the man of God.
Exactly, yeah, same type of thing.
So John the Hut Burner, is he like from He's like one of the Desert Fathers? It was like
Maximus the Hut Burner.
Oh, Maximus, okay.
Yeah, he was one of those. I think one of the desert dwellers.
Uh-huh.
And John the Hut Dweller, I forget where he's from. He's today, but
Maximus the Hut Burner. I gotta look that one up. I've never heard of that one.
yeah, he's one. And my friends were very good. They loved these like back and forth stories, and so cool. So you got two new prosomia, plus practicing of the other ones,
All right.
and a long hymn.
So, both of them use the South Chromatic scale, is that right?
Yeah, they're all